Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Keri D. Singleton. I'm here talking to you, all of our valued viewers on our YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest, and he has a very interesting name. My guest today is Mr. Richard Pryor Junior. How are you today, brother?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, you have a. Yeah, I know you get this a lot, man. But like, do you get looked at strangely when you tell people your name?
Well, it's not so much even telling people my name, but people just see me. I'll be on the subway or something, and you get people that will just be like, I know you from somewhere.
Because you do look like somebody.
Yeah. I had a guy a couple weeks ago that actually said, I'm sorry to be scared, but are you Richard Pryor's son?
Wow.
I was like, yeah. I said, okay, I just want to apologize. I thought you were. So.
And since we're on the subject of staring and people intruding in your space, you and I are Facebook friends, and I kind of saw a post a couple of weeks ago that was a little disturbing, in which case you went to a restaurant, and if I'm not mistaken, the waiter kind of, I guess, over a super fan or a super fanatic or a weirdo, did copy down your name and your number and
well, actually, I didn't even get to the restaurant. I was calling for delivery.
Wow. Okay.
And usually when I'm home, I always call this. It's a chain, a pizza chain in Illinois, Missouri, and Indiana, and Wisconsin.
Oh, this was back home. This was
back home.
Okay.
And so I called and placed an order, and then a couple hours later, I get someone sent me a text, are you okay with this being on social media? And I'm like, what is it? And it was a picture of they had actually taken a picture of my phone number, my name and my phone number from the caller ID in the restaurant.
Why would you be okay with that?
Oh, I definitely
I know you wasn't. Like,
definitely wasn't okay. And then they apologized. We're talking about they didn't know it was, they didn't know it was the real Richard Pryor. But yet in the post, you can actually see where she says, Junior in the house. And it takes a picture. But even if I was Joe Smith, why would you post my name and number?
Maybe
I don't mind the name, but number.
She wanted something. I think that's what she wanted something.
She wanted something.
Pryor
Yeah.
love it.
Well, she got something coming.
I know that's right. But welcome to the Intrigue Magazine YouTube channel. You are the son of the legendary comic Richard Pryor. It's an honor to have you here. Not just because of your lineage, brother, but because you also are an author.
Right.
This past April, you released your first book, It's A Pryor Life. And I'm really excited to talk to everybody about that project. You're a new author. The book just came out a couple months ago. Welcome to the author's circle, brother.
Thank you very much.
And you're also an actor in your own right. You guys do a lot of great things going on. Let's start off with the book, It's A Pryor Life. I have a copy of it, In A Pryor Life. See, this is what happens when you haven't had any bottled water in a while. In A Pryor Life. There's a great shot of Rich Jr. with his legendary dad. And on the back, with the synopsis is, we have a great picture of the brother. This is actually a really great shot. I don't know if you can pan in and see it.
I was singing at a Metropolitan on a cabaret show.
Okay. Singing?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump right on into this. So I think, one of the as a fellow author, I know that when you release your first book, it's like you're having your baby.
Yeah.
And what was it like for you, Rich, when you got the first shipment of In A Pryor Life?
Well, I remember it's like the thing when you have the box there, and it was sent to my manager's house. And, you're like touching the box, and you open it up and take the papers off, and it's like kind of like Christmas, and you see it. You're kind of like in disbelief, but then you think about, man, all this work I did, look, it's finally here. And to actually physically hold it and to look at it, it was quite emotional. More emotional than I actually thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to evoke, all the different tears and sorrow and all those things. One thing I was really, at the time, I was proud of my mother because of who she made me as a man. But also saddened by the fact that neither one of my parents were here to see this.
Yes, I understand. Yeah. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. And it's incredible because this is your life story.
Right.
When you write a book about your life, which I haven't done myself yet, you're basically it's like you're releasing a lot of inner parts of yourself, brother. And it's therapeutic, right, but it's also rewarding. But it can also be pretty painful. Yeah. What was the hardest part for you about writing In a Pryor Life?
I think the most difficult thing were when I was talking about things I didn't think that really mattered.
Yes.
And when you start talking about it, it like opens the door to something else.
Right.
Maybe that you put it away and didn't realize that it's important, and it starts to come out in emotions.
Yes.
And I think what I went through a lot of things being physically ill. I would actually really get sick, and my back would go out, and I would have flu-like symptoms, and my manager would push, you got to do some more recording, because I did a lot of recording.
Right.
So I think that was the most difficult thing, realizing that things that you thought didn't matter really did, and things that you thought that mattered didn't matter at all.
Right. Yeah.
You find out everything was kind of like flip-flop as far as emotions and things that you go through during writing a book. So it was a tough process to go through.
On the flip side, I want to ask you a question. What was the most rewarding component for you in the completion of In a Pryor Life?
I think it is from the people who've read the book. I haven't had any negative comments regarding the book as far as the story or anything. Haven't had any people who have been overly judgmental or anything, because when I share my life, I really share it.
Exactly.
The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything.
Everything in between.
So it was important for me to do that, but I knew that I could possibly get some backlash for certain things that I would say or something like that. But I haven't really had any of that. But when you get to a point in your life, there's certain things you have to just let it roll off your shoulder and just go about your life.
So as an author, what are some things that we can look forward to? Are we doing some book signings? Are we doing tours? Are we going to be speaking, doing speaking engagements? I personally would love to see you, on the road, promoting at the bookstores. Do you have any films?
Well, a couple of things actually going on. Okay. I did a mini book tour at the beginning of the book release and through May.
Okay.
Working on setting up some more dates for some more book tours. Excellent. I'm actually doing some different places that reach out to me to come and speak about my life story, my book, and the things and the struggles I've gone through in my life. So I'm actually doing that. I'm actually working on a one-man show based off of my book.
Okay.
And the guy that helped write the book, Ron Brawer, he's actually in the process now of literally writing the screenplay.
Excellent.
So we have some production companies that are interested in seeing it on film.
If you could handpick the person that you would like to play yourself in the film adaptation of In a Pryor Life, who would you pick?
That would be tough. It depends on what age you're talking about. I would love to take it on myself as my age.
Right.
Play that because I am an actor. If I could see someone playing me, there's a little actor that played the little boy in my dance film, JoJo Dancing.
Okay.
His name is Elon.
Okay.
And I would like to see, because he would be around that age in his probably 30s, 20s, 30s, in that age range, where he could actually pull something like that off. Other than that, if I would have to go to a more mature adult, I would say someone in the realm of Cuba. Yeah, something like that.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, so.
Now, in addition to being a new author, what are the other talents that you're giving the world right now? So I heard you mention singing.
Yeah, I really sing. I sing professionally.
Let's talk about those things. Singing. What type of music does moves Richard Pryor?
R&B and jazz.
Thank you.
Yeah.
High five, my brother. Real music.
Yeah. And the stuff I hate to say it, but no, I don't.
Yeah, say
stuff,
it. Come on,
stuff
brother.
that they playing on the radio now,
Today,
stuff, it makes me cringe. I'm like, how are they making these millions? How are they making this money? Listen to them.
Yeah.
You know, thank goodness for auto-tune. We heard them real bad.
Yeah, and thank goodness for, you know, everybody knows, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, if it came out after the year 2000, I don't listen to it unless it comes out, unless it was performed by an artist who came out before.
Before that.
Yeah, I don't listen to any post-2000 music. Who would you say are, if you could pick 3 living or deceased, your favorite R&B or jazz recording artists?
Ooh, Etta James. Melba Moore. She was one of my, I was crazy about Melba Moore.
Very good friend of the show.
I've
the YouTube channel.
met her several times.
Great sister.
So her, you know, she's always going to give her best. She's always going to give 100%. She's going to sing live. She's going to sing with no tracks. So I like that. There's you know, there's a lot. Stevie Wonders, Stephanie Mills. There's a friend of mine who's a singer who did some film work on Car Wash. Her name is Gwen Woods.
Okay.
I love her voice as well. I like, you know, I like to say that it's so sad to see a lot of people who had the voices and have the voices that never got that opportunity for that mainstream to hear them. And those are the people that I like to listen to.
Now, I know that you have appeared in The Color Purple.
No, I didn't.
So then my notes were wrong.
I worked on The Color Purple.
You worked on The Color Purple? Really?
Yeah,
Explain that to me.
I worked production on The Color Purple.
What was that like?
So, it was actually cool because it was, I mean, it was a hard shoot. We shot for months in the hot heat in North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. That was Whoopi Goldberg's first film, major film. That was the first film for Oprah Winfrey.
Right.
You had Margaret Avery, you had Quincy Jones working, you know, one of the producers, Steven Spielberg. So working with all those people was a great opportunity as far as to see people who were excited because it was something new for them.
Right.
And I look now on...
Okay, so I'm here with Richard Pryor Junior, hoping that the camera doesn't shut off on us again. I was actually talking about the fact that I was really shocked to know that the legendary comedian's son sang. You do cabaret, so that means you really got a voice. Like you're not like a Chris Brown singer. No. I said it. I said it. Yeah, you're not like a Rihanna singer. You're a singer.
Yeah. You have to when you sing it live.
Right. Well. But yeah, and so another we talked about the film.
Did you know my dad could sing?
No, I did definitely.
Yeah, there's a song of him singing. If you look up Richard Pryor singing, there's a song of him singing an old Bessie Smith song called "Nobody Wants You When You're Down and Out," and that's the same song I sing in my show. And we actually sound identical.
Well, I mean, I guess so. You also look alike. It's a little bit. What about? I wanted to talk to you also about the fact that you've done films, The Color Purple. That had to have been a tremendously rewarding experience because that is now an iconic film. So, what was your role in The Color Purple?
I worked on production on that, so I did production on it, and the other half of the time I was probably snorting cocaine.
Are you serious? I've never put anything in my nose other than water. And what about Bustin' Loose? That is a black folks favorite.
I loved working on that movie because it was like Cicely Tyson. That's what I was excited about. Cicely Tyson was on this movie, so that was the fun part for me. I know it took several years to actually do the film because a lot of the footage when they did the first one was so messed up they had to go back and do a lot of the other footage again.
Oh, really?
So then you had like 2 years went by and so then you had some of the kids were taller than the other ones and the heights had changed and so they had to redo a lot of stuff. And I think a lot of it's because of my dad's drug use.
Now, speaking of your dad, we haven't spoken about your dad because so focused right now on the book, In A Pryor Life. Y'all gotta go check that out.
You know who took that picture?
BearManorMedia.com. No, I don't.
Billy D. Williams took that picture. Yeah. That was at his old sweet pool in his backyard.
And how old were you when this picture was taken?
I say 12 for everything. I don't know, 12, 13. Actually, that was the first name who was going to do my book. When I was 12, because when I tell stories, I automatically say 12. I was 12. So something must have happened.
When you was 12?
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened.
Oh, I know when I was 10, I lost my virginity, so I reference a lot of it. But that has nothing to do with it.
Did you on purpose?
Yeah, which I definitely wasn't an accident.
Okay, because mine wasn't on purpose. So.
Yeah, it was definitely not an accident. It was great though. I remember,
Mine was, I remember when I think I was 12.
12.
I think I was 12.
When you were born, you were 12.
Her name was Mary White Cloud. She was 26 years old. She worked on my dad's farm.
Mouth closed.
She was like, let me show you some things. Your dad wants me to show you some things.
Well, at least in my situation, my partner was 10. And I was 10. But anyway, never mind that. You're from Peoria, I'm from Boston. Let's talk about Peoria, Illinois.
Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said Illinois.
Yeah, well, it's in Illinois.
I know, but I run into so many people here. They want to throw that S on there.
It's not Illinois.
Oh, they want to.
Indians or Native Americans, I should say.
It's like somebody scratching a chalkboard.
The Illinois tribe.
Right.
But I'm not originally from New York, from Boston. Not that bad of a guess. Not as sorry as I am. But I've always been big with chocolate. Yeah, Peoria, Illinois. I'm familiar. I've never been, but I've had run-ins with Peorians.
Oh, okay.
I guess they're called. Yeah.
I hear about that.
You're the first Peorian that I've ever met that I liked. Okay. The facts on that 309 area code. But so growing up in the Midwest, although you're the son of an icon, what is it like growing up in a blue collar, rough town like Peoria? I know that much about this. It's not an easy town to grow up in.
No, I think it's a lot worse than it used to be.
Oh wow.
Definitely now. It's like, a lot of murders, a lot of shootings.
Yeah.
But it's when I was coming up though, it was like all I knew. So it wasn't, other than the fact that on my mother's side, my grandmother and my grandfather. But on my dad's side, I had my great grandmother, and they were pimps and prostitutes and bootleggers.
Wow. Your family.
So it was a
lit, as they
thing.
say
You kind of like,
nowadays.
things that I thought was normal weren't normal until you found out later on going to other kids' houses.
Right.
Being here and people, give me that, grab me that.
Right. One thing I can say that's dope about Peoria, other than the fact that you're from there, is the fact that they honored your dad with a statue.
Yeah.
Now, what is it like when you go back to Illinois and you get to see your pop's statue? Where is it? Is it downtown?
It's a downtown area in the warehouse district. It's
near the river.
Very, very artsy area. And his was the first statue on that street. Now there's other statues and different pieces of art that are on that same street. It was kind of surreal. It was, when you look at something and you look at something that's going to be there forever.
Right.
And you look at that and you thinking about the fact that that's your father.
Right.
And your father has a statue that's going to be there forever. And then years later, 50 years down the line, you got kids that are going to be seeing this same statue and asking about who this person is.
Right.
And then the story is going to be told, this is who this was. It's kind of very surreal, and it makes me proud. Peoria took a long time before they would embrace him in that way. I'm glad they finally did.
Well, they sure should have, because he's definitely a great American icon. And were you there for the unveiling of that?
Yes, I actually unveiled the statue.
What was that?
It was awesome. I had some of my sisters were there. My mother's sister was there. My aunt, my dad's sister was there, and just being able to stand up on that, the ladder thing, and to unwrap it, and to unveil it, and to stand there and be able to talk about my dad, it was very powerful.
Wow. You got to share some pictures. some videos.
Yeah.
I need to see that.
Yeah,
So I've sat here and I've talked about your career, but we're not finished. There's a lot more to talk about. But there's no way that I can sit in front of Richard Pryor's son and namesake and not ask you, what was it like being Richard Pryor Junior when your dad was
well, it's like a two-edged sword. In some aspects, it was very good. It was kind of cool.
Kind of cool.
Well, yeah, because
I got his name.
But I never looked at it like everybody else looks at it.
Right. It's all
to
you
me,
knew.
it was like my dad worked at a factory.
Right.
In my head. That's the way it was to me. So I never saw it like everybody else saw it. I know I did have issues like when I was younger and would go to I remember going to the movies to see The Wiz, and I remember people watching me versus the movie. Because they wanted to see my reaction on something.
Right.
And so that was very difficult. That was a difficult thing. But then not knowing who your friends were.
Absolutely.
That was a real tough thing. Not knowing who liked you for you. They liked you because of what your name was. So I think those were the things that were like negative about it.
Yes.
The positive things I can truly say were being able to travel and go on the road with them, and being able, I used to introduce him on stage when he did stand up. So those were great memories, and going on the road with him, and him being able to go to Europe when I was young, and vacations and Nice and all these different places that I never would have had the opportunity to go to.
That's an awesome experience. I know that me asking you this question is just actually really, truly ridiculous, but I have to ask you. I won't say which one. What are some of your favorite dad moments? As far as your father being a star. First, let's do those.
As far as being a star?
Yeah. What was your favorite movie that he was in?
Which Way Is Up?
Okay.
That was my favorite film he did. I think he played 3 characters and it was funny, and I could relate to it because that was most likely that was the way my grandparents talked, my great grandmother and my grandfather, that's the way they spoke. So it was very comfortable watching that film. I saw a lot of truth in that.
Right.
Let's see. Working at his production company. I used to work at Indigo Productions on the Columbia lot out in Burbank. So I think those were great moments with him. And who was it? George Jackson was I think the president at the time. And then you also had Fred Williamson was around a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Jim Brown. Jim Brown. So those are great moments, being able to do those things. As far as other things, other than, touring with them on the road.
Yeah, dad moments. What about the dad moments?
Dad moments?
Yeah.
I think him taking us on vacations, going to the house in Hawaii, him teaching us how to quote-unquote snorkel when he really didn't know what he was doing. Just being adventurous in Hawaii and, seeing the land and becoming a part of that community, and not as Richard Pryor, as Richard Pryor's kids and all that, and people just looking at him, dad is dad, this Richard. And I think those were the best moments. I think also Christmases and spending time with them during the holidays, touring on the road with them. Those are all great moments in vacations. Those are things that which are nice.
So, getting back to your book, In A Pryor Life, I know that this book is near and dear to your heart for a lot of reasons, but a great reason is your mom.
Right.
Let's talk about your mom, your queen. What would she say if she were here in the flesh about your first book?
She would be proud, because the fact that I'm telling my truth and living my truth and telling who I am. She's always had a problem years and years ago, like saying my complete name. My name is Richard Pryor Junior. I always had difficulty with that.
What would you say?
I'm Richard.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
pretty much leave it at that.
Right.
Even when you would have people introduce themselves, I'm Robert Johnson, and I'd be like, I'm Richard.
Right. Okay.
I think I had to become comfortable in my own skin. And my mom said it was all right to use my name, to say who I was, because everyone else does it.
Right, and that's who you are.
Yeah, and that's who I am. I can't change that, and that's who I am. So I had to learn to embrace it. One thing that I think my mother really gave me, that this may sound weird to a lot of people, but my mother's death actually gave me life. Because if my mother was still around, I would still be laid up under her. I'd probably still be in Peoria, laying underneath her, being the mama's boy and all those things. I think when she passed away, it gave me an opportunity just to breathe. And also when my dad died too, because they died within 2 years of each other, 2 or 3 years with each other. So I think it was a thing of I could finally breathe and be my own person.
It forces you
yeah.
to become you.
Become you. Exactly.
Wow, that's deep. I'm sorry, I'm actually absorbing that. You're a spiffy dresser.
Thank you.
You get that from your dad?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
If he were here today, in the flesh, what would Mr. Pryor Senior say about your book?
Well, as far as even things I've went through in my life in the past that he was a part of and knew about, he always said, whatever I did, be the best of it. Don't have to do anything. So he would be actually happy with me because I'm telling my children being who I am as a person. So I didn't worry about who was going to think what, who was going to say what, or worry about the repercussions of what I wrote down on paper about my life. I had to learn to live my truth and be my truth for who I am as a person. And he would have respected that.
I have to say I haven't read the book yet, but I definitely look forward to reading it. But in advance, I want to thank you for sharing your truth. It's very courageous for anyone to write a book, period. But to write a book about your life story, particularly when I know you have an extraordinary story to tell. I haven't cracked the page yet, but I see in the intensity of your eyes, the way that you talk about your book, and the way that you talk about your parents would, if they were here, embrace your book. I know that you have a hell of a story to tell. And I want to thank you in advance for sharing that story with us. If you could look into the camera and tell our Intrigue Magazine viewers what kind of advice would you give them if they want to be an author, be a singer, get into this crazy business of entertainment that we're in? What kind of advice would you give?
I think the advice that I would tell the listeners and viewers is that be your authentic self. Never take no as finality. Keep pushing no matter what obstacles are put in front of you. Get rid of the naysayers out of your life. Circle yourself with people who are positive and are about the same thing in life that you want. You want to be around people who are going somewhere, not people who have been somewhere. So I think that's advice I would give.
And how would you describe Peoria, Illinois, and Ron Brawer? God, Kevin.
One word.
You always get yourself into these scenarios. Could you have been from Springfield or something? Damn.
That's the word.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm here with Richard Pryor Junior. I want you all to pick up his book, A Pryor Life. You can pick it up at bearmanormedia.com. That's BearManormedia.com. It's a great book.
Also Amazon.
And Amazon.com. And how else can people reach you on social media if they want to get in touch with you?
They can reach me on PryorLife.com. They can reach me on the Richard Pryor Junior fan page on Facebook, or on Twitter and Instagram under Richard Pryor Junior.
And do just that, everybody. Support the brother. He's a genuine guy. It's not his fault he's from Peoria. But he made Peoria great. And thank you again. I'm just kidding. We talking about Enrico 309 on the side.
See, I should have said that one word I could say about Peoria was Zola coffee. That's what I should have said.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get on out of here. Keri D. Singleton, Intrigue Magazine. I love this guy already. See you next time.